A, B, or C. Then for if you want to upload a file, you use file. Then if you want a date, something like a calendar, you can use this. Then this time, if you want to the clock where you can just select time of event or whatever. This button, input type button, input type submit, and input type reset, all gives you button. It just depends on you that want to do whatever thing you want to do. All gives you button. But in the aspect of submit, it has to be used inside a form tag. There's a tag called form. It must be used inside the form tag. When you specify the method either as post or get. We'll come to form tag later. We'll come to form tag. So then this reset is also used in the form tag. Something you can use as cancel. You feed something and you want to erase everything. You just put the type reset. Now when you see this type reset gives you the type reset. It gives you the text on the button as reset. Is that what it showed you? Yes. If you put additional attribute and put value equals to cancel, you see what it will tell you. If you change that text from reset to cancel, but it performs the function of reset. You see it? Now select, check this box and check that. Good. Click on the reset, the cancel. It doesn't do anything, right? Because it is not inside the form tag. That's why I say this one, even this one, you must use it inside the form tag. This button is also similar with this tag, with this HTML type, this HTML tag button. Input type button is the same thing as this HTML tag button. But when you are using button alone, you specify. If you watch at the input type button, did not give you any text there. It just created something there because the value was not specified. So the same thing applies when you use this button, but you not specify the value. And you don't specify the value. It will just give you that stuff. But when you are specifying the value, when you specify the value, maybe sign in, and you come in between this and say sign in. It will give you a text there. Am I too fast? Okay. Then inside it you have what option. Maybe you say select sex option. Then another option, male option. Another option, female. Sorry. Yeah. Select sex option. Yeah. Okay. Option. Then now, if you are done with all your options, you close your select. All these options have attributes. All the options have attributes. Something like ID, name. ID as an attribute gives the identity of that tag. Why the name is the name of the tag. Yes, identity is different from name. In most cases, they can be the same. But every identity is unique. But the name might not be unique. In the place of a radio button, all the radio buttons have the same name. If all the radio buttons do not have the same name, you can select all of them. But if they have the same name, you can only select one out of all. I don't know if you understand what I said just now. Huh?
Yes.
Good.
So
I said name and identity. Huh? All are attributes of HTML tags. The name is the name of the tag, while the identity is the identity of the tag. Identity can be the same as name, but identity is always unique. That is, the ID is always unique. In the place of radio button, which is the input type radio, if you want it to select one out of many, all the radio buttons will have the same name. Else, you can select it differently. So if you are using something and you say sex, sex, and you do this, I say input type equals to radio, then you have name equals to sex. That will give you, then you now put the one you want there, maybe male, you put the male outside. Good. Then you now have another one, input type radio, name, sex, female. It will give you something like this: sex, male, female. So because both of them have the same name, you can select one out of the two. But if they have different names, you will select the two. Have you checked it out? Check it out before you write. You can check it out before you write. Drop down list, right? You can do a lot of things with it, but I'm just showing you the step. The last thing I'll show you today under HTML is what they call the text area. You might be wondering, the text box will be saying is just a single text box like this. What about those text boxes are sealed and they type message? That the type message. This text box will be using, if you type it, will just be going straight, it cannot break down. So to get that bigger text box, you use what they call text area. Then you can close it back here. Text area. The area is together, please. Text area has attributes too. Something like rows. Check it out as I check the text area out. You see rows there. You specify the number of rows you want in that text area. Good, that is what I want here. You specify the number of rows you want in the text area, right? Good. So you see what you've done. Now, with this text area, you can increase and adjust it from here, the HTML. But there's a property that is done using CSS that you cannot increase and adjust or reduce and decrease it. Good. So all these things you've done on your browser that you see there like this, you can also see the source code from the browser. That's why the browser is not safe for a developer to rely on fully, and that's why we have server side. So when you do things on the browser, you expose them out. If I should right click on this browser, I can come to what view source. I'll see all the source code. Any web page, you see it like that. You see the source code. If you want to inspect, inspecting is like you want to know what is this element that is shared. You right click on it, you say inspect. Now it will show you both for the side of this and this. So when I put my mouse on this or I come to this particular place, I go over my mouse, this place is telling me the thing there. So I can easily get whatever thing I want. I can easily get whatever thing I want. But when it is done using a server-side language, you cannot see what is done, because the server sends it to the browser. The browser shows you what the server has sent, and the server will not send what will expose your website to send the finished aspect. That's why every programming language that is used for web development controls anything on design. Just as CSS controls HTML, JavaScript controls CSS and HTML, you see that PHP can control JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Any question? No? No question. Okay. So I'll give you a form for you to design using. Pardon? Okay. I'll give you a form for you to design using CSS and using HTML, purely HTML. And let's see your ability.